You open the app for just a minute. Suddenly, the screen floods with perfection. Flawless skin glowing in golden hour light, couples laughing on white sand beaches, friends toasting at rooftop bars with glittering city skylines, someone announcing a new job with six-figure salary emojis, a dramatic before and after gym transformation that looks impossible, a family vacation in Santorini with captions like, "Grateful beyond words," a proposal under the Eiffel Tower at sunset, someone crossing a marathon finish line with tears and a medal, a home-cooked meal, styled like it belongs in a Michelin star restaurant, a new car parked in a driveway that screams success, a perfectly organized bookshelf with aesthetic plants and bestsellers, a cozy reading nook lit by fairy lights and steam rising from coffee, someone hitting 100K followers and thanking their community, a pregnancy announcement with ultrasound photos and exploding heart emojis, a wedding dance floor moment frozen in eternal happiness. And you? You're in the same room you've been in for hours. The lighting is flat and fluorescent. Your coffee is cold. Your to-do list is untouched. Your inbox has unread messages from last week. Your body feels heavy. Your mind feels foggy. And that quiet, familiar voice grows louder. Why does everyone else have it figured out, and I don't? You scroll a little more, hoping the next post will feel different. It doesn't. You feel smaller, less accomplished, less attractive, less loved, less alive. You close the app. The feeling lingers. That isn't just a bad mood. That isn't laziness or lack of motivation. That is the comparison trap in full force, and social media platforms are engineered to make sure you fall into it again and again. Welcome to File 005. Comparison is ancient. It is one of the oldest emotional algorithms in the human brain. For most of human history, knowing your rank in the group was a matter of survival. In small hunter-gatherer bands of 50, 150 people, being at the bottom meant fewer resources, less protection, lower reproductive success. The brain that quickly noticed others are doing better than me and motivated action, either climb the hierarchy or find a new strategy, had an evolutionary advantage. Fast forward to today. Your tribe is no longer 150 people you see face to face. It is now billions of strangers whose best 1% of life moments are algorithmically selected, professionally edited, filter-enhanced, caption-optimized, and delivered straight to your dopamine receptors 24 hours a day. Your ancient comparison circuitry has no natural off switch for this scale. It treats every superior post as a real-time status threat, the same way it would have treated a rival with more food, better tools, or higher social standing in the Pleistocene. But now the rival isn't in your village. The rival is in your pocket. And there are millions of them. When you see someone succeed online, your mirror neurons fire. You literally simulate their achievement in your own brain. But because it isn't yours, the simulation creates dissonance. You feel their joy, and your own absence of it. That dissonance is the seed of envy. Your ventral striatum and nucleus accumbens light up with a brief dopamine burst when you see success online. It's the same circuitry that fires when you win money, eat sugar, or receive a like. But the burst is followed by an immediate crash when your prefrontal cortex reminds you that that's not your life. The crash feels like loss. Over time, repeated crashes lower your baseline dopamine sensitivity. Ordinary achievements in your own life start to feel flat and unrewarding. Your amygdala, the almond-shaped alarm center, interprets upward comparison as danger. I'm falling behind. I'm not safe. I'm not valuable. Cortisol and adrenaline surge. Heart rate increases. Blood pressure rises. Chronic activation of this system leads to persistent low-grade stress, the kind that quietly erodes sleep, immunity, focus, and mood over months and years. The prefrontal cortex, which normally helps you regulate emotions and solve problems, becomes hijacked by endless what if and why not me loops. You replay the same comparisons. You zoom in on details. You search for more evidence that you're behind. This creates a self-reinforcing cycle. More scrolling, more comparison, more rumination, more distress, more scrolling to escape the distress. Large-scale studies from 2023-2025 show passive scrolling for 30-plus minutes daily is linked to drops in life satisfaction, increased depression and anxiety symptoms, lower body image scores, especially in women aged 18 to 35, higher loneliness despite high connection numbers, and elevated cortisol with reduced serotonin markers. The platforms know exactly what they're doing. Beauty filters create impossible symmetry and proportions. Editing apps turn ordinary moments into cinematic productions. Algorithms favor aspirational, envy-inducing content because it keeps you emotionally hooked longest. Infinite scroll removes natural stopping cues. Variable rewards mimic slot machine psychology. Stories with 24-hour expiration create artificial urgency. The feed prioritizes content that generates strong reactions, and envy-driven reactions are among the most reliable. No one posts the mundane reality: the credit card debt behind the vacation photo, the argument after the engagement selfie, the crying breakdown before the "I did it" post, the loneliness behind the friend group pictures. Because of that omission, every comparison is skewed upward. You compare your full, unfiltered reality against someone else's carefully selected 1%. The average user experiences feelings of inferiority multiple times per day. Those micro hits accumulate into macro damage. People describe a near constant hum of "I'm not enough" that follows them into work, relationships, and sleep. Body dysmorphia so severe they avoid mirrors or photos. Disordered eating patterns triggered by fitness influencers and "what I eat in a day" videos. Imposter syndrome that makes real achievements feel fraudulent. Social withdrawal because genuine connection feels inferior to polished online versions. In extreme cases, clinical depression traceable to comparison spirals, unnecessary cosmetic procedures driven by filtered ideals, complete loss of motivation because "I'll never catch up." Spikes in suicidal ideation among adolescents correlated with heavy exposure to idealized content. This is not character failure. This is biology colliding with profit-maximizing design. The good news: the trap has exits. You can walk out, and research shows clear paths. First, ruthless curation. Audit your follows. Unfollow or mute every account that reliably triggers comparison, even if they're friends or inspirational. Your feed is your mental neighborhood. Choose your neighbors wisely. Second, build an internal reference system. Start a daily gratitude and wins journal. Write 3 things you are proud of, no matter how small: a good conversation, a workout, a boundary you held, a kind word you gave. This shifts comparison from external to internal. Over weeks, your brain starts valuing your own progress more than strangers' posts. Third, install reality checkpoints. When envy arises, pause and verbalize. This is a curated moment, not a full life. They have pain too. Say it out loud if possible. Labeling reduces automatic power. Cognitive reappraisal studies show this lowers amygdala activation within seconds. Fourth, enforce time boundaries and mindful consumption. Use app timers. Set a hard limit: 20-30 minutes total per day across platforms. When the timer ends, stop, even mid-scroll. Practice urge surfing. Notice the pull to keep scrolling. Breathe through it, let it pass. Most urges peak and fade in 90 seconds. Fifth, anchor in the physical world. Keep a running list of real-world achievements and joys that never make it online. A deep conversation, a walk in nature, a book finished, a skill slowly improving. Celebrate these privately. They are your true metrics. Invest time in unfiltered, in-person connection. Face-to-face relationships release oxytocin in ways likes never can. They remind you that real intimacy is messy, awkward, and infinitely more valuable than polished posts. Sixth, practice radical self-compassion. When the voice says, "I'm not enough," respond the way you would to a friend in pain. You were doing your best in a rigged game. You're allowed to be imperfect. You are already worthy. Kristen Neff's research shows self-compassion rebuilds self-esteem faster than almost anything else. These steps are deliberate rewiring. Neuroplasticity is on your side. The brain that learned to compare can learn to stop. Comparison does not measure your worth. It measures how successfully someone else edited their reality. Your life is not a race against filtered illusions. It is the slow accumulation of small, real, unposted moments. The quiet mornings with coffee and silence, the imperfect hugs, the nights you chose rest over performance, the times you showed up even when you felt unworthy. Those are the moments no algorithm will ever rank, and they are the only ones that truly matter. The question is no longer, why isn't my life like theirs? The question is, will you keep letting a stranger's feed define your value, or will you finally start writing your own story, unfiltered? File 005 closed. Your worth was never in the scroll. It was always in you.